everyone. Welcome to Lesson 5 of our BridgeU Bootcamp. Today, we will be focusing on building your shortlist with university matches. I'm going to give you some useful tips and explain some parts of how the profile builder works and where we get our data from. This will be less activity-based compared to previous lessons and more talking on my part, but I hope it will be useful for you. Before we start, here is what you'll need to prepare the lesson. Some blank paper with coloured pens, ideally 3 for our activities, or you can use Word on your laptop, or you can download our templates which are attached to the article. Please make sure that you are seated comfortably, far from distraction, and log into your BridgeU account. Okay, let's start. In last week's lesson, you looked at research resources, such as our country guides, and started to think about what sort of place you would like to live in. What resources did you find most useful and why? Feel free to refer to other resources that you've been using elsewhere as well. It's always good to research using a variety of resources, but it's also always good to reflect on what you find useful and why. Take a couple of minutes to jot some ideas down. Okay, now it's time for an activity. You'll need some paper for this, or our template, which is also in this article. I want you to think about your ideal place of study and create a mind map with as many thoughts and ideas as possible. Anything goes. Here's an example of my ideal place to study. Close to home, London. I'd like it to be international. I want to study law and some other factors as well, such as I'd love to study in the Netherlands. Next, pick 3 top priorities that the place must have. So for example, you're set on a certain university, a certain city, a certain degree, etc. Here are my top 3 priorities. The Netherlands is my top pick, as it is an affordable place with reputable universities. I'm set on studying law, so that's also another priority, but I don't really mind what type of degree, what type of law it is. And I'm open-minded to all of the other factors, but I'm going to be picking Amsterdam as my 3rd priority because I've heard it's a vibrant city and lots of international students go there. So now is your turn. Take a few minutes to do this activity. I hope the activity went well. Now we're going to dive into the profile builder. I'm sure many of you have already completed the profile builder, but this is intended to show you some useful tips and bits of information that you may not have heard of. Also remember that the profile builder should be updated at least more than once, and you can always go back and edit any part of it to see how your matches change. When you log on to BridgeU, click on Profile Builder on the left-hand side. The first 3 sections of the Profile Builder are compulsory and should be filled out to the best of your abilities in order to get recommendations. The last section, Personal Preferences, if you don't do this section, you will still get recommendations. However, we recommend that you do complete this section, as by completing it, BridgeU will then show you the best fit courses for you first at the top. Our counsellor, Ms. Condal from Hermitage International School of France, is going to share some useful tips that she gives her students when creating the profile builder. She shared a video with us, so feel free to use some pen and paper to take notes on what she has to say.
Hello, I'm Rachel Condell. I'm the Careers Advisor at Hermitage International School of France, and we're based in Maison-Lafitte, just outside of Paris. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the Profile Builder on the BridgeU platform. I really like the Profile Builder because it allows the students a way of being able to widen their research and find out more about universities around the world that they may not have considered. So In order for us to be able to start using the profile builder, we will have already used the strategy advisor. I find that using it in the IB1 year for us, that is the penultimate year before they graduate, seems to be the best time for us to be able to do that. The students are very focused. They're getting to the stage where they're starting to look at applying to universities. So it all seems really pertinent and a really good time to start. Basically, where you would like to lead the students is through the questions and just giving them a little bit of advice on, for example, the second question, which might be where they want to study. So when we look at the number of countries that are available to them for the tick boxes for them to click, I always recommend that they don't tick anything else if they've ticked the USA. There are so many colleges in America that if they do a search with USA and any other combination, their university matches tend to be completely inundated with American university colleges and courses. So the good thing to tell them at this stage, and the good thing that I always reassure them, is that nothing is set in stone. They can edit this, they can run it as many times as they like, they can input different information all the time, and that's a really reassuring thing that the students seem to really get on with. So when they first, if they're interested in applying to the USA, then I just get them to click the USA and nothing else. If they're interested in applying to the USA and perhaps the Netherlands or the UK as well, then I tell them to do separate searches. So I might put UK and the Netherlands and any other European universities in together. That seems to work really well. If they want to put Canada, they may want to do a Canadian search or any Asian searches separately as well. So you can put them all in together. You can click as many as you like, and they can play around and find out which way they want to do it. So when they have clicked the different countries that they then want to study, what they then have to do is input their grades. Now, this again is another interesting conversation where students often put in grades that they hope to achieve and not necessarily what they're achieving currently. So again, it can be something that's reassuring for students that if they know that currently they're not getting the grades that they hope to get in their final IB exam, we do the IB, so we would put in the 6 subjects, including extended essay and TOK, that if they're not getting the grades that they hope to get, that they can do one search with their current grades, perhaps off their bulletin or their final report that they had from the last semester, or what they might do is put in their target grades, and then they can look at what discrepancies there are, or if they need to achieve in any particular, to access a particular course that they like the look of, what kind of grades they need to be able to get in particular subjects in order to be able to achieve their goals. So again, that's quite a reassuring and also quite a fun thing that they can put in the grades that they think they might need to get, and also the grades that they're actually going to get. And it actually gives them a little bit of a more realistic idea of where they need to be and what they need to achieve. Once we've done that, the students then need to look at their subject interests. Now, these are very general on the BridgeU platform when they first look. However, and they can add them in as a general thing like humanities or sciences, but they can also add them in and start to be a little bit more specific. So they can see click subfields. And so, for example, say they went into sciences and computer sciences, they could leave it general at that point, or they can keep clicking through the subfields if they know a particular specific career path that they're interested in. So again, using computing, they may go into computer and IT, they may go into artificial intelligence, they may want to go into gaming or just general computer science. And again, at any level, they can add those in, deciding whether or not they want to keep their search general or whether they want to funnel it a little bit more. So again, it's another way of proving to the students that they can edit their searches at any time, which is great. We also recommend for the next question, which is asked by the profile builder, whether or not they're open to suggestions of courses outside their subject interests. We always recommend that they click yes, because again, it's really important for them to be able to widen their university searches. A lot of them don't necessarily know much about the university courses that they're applying to, or have very narrow ideas about what kind of things are out there in terms of job opportunities. So again, it's a really nice way for us to be able to allow them to widen their search and be aware of their options that are available to them. Then we move on to a little bit more information about getting their university matches. So again, they will, once they've finished all those questions, they will get the opportunity to get their university matches. So they will get a reach, a match, and insurance. They'll get 9 per page, so 3 of each. And it's important for the student to realise that in order for them to be able to see more university matches, they either have to discard a university course, or what they need to be able to do is they need to be able to put it into their shortlist.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kandal, for that information. I'm now going to explain how the chance of acceptance works. You can see the chance of acceptance for a course here. And if you click into the course, by scrolling down a bit, you will also be able to see the minimum entry requirements. This is slightly different to the chance of acceptance, however, and I'm going to explain how this works, as it has been a popular question amongst students. Minimum entry requirements are merely the tip of the iceberg, and you could be misled if you do not consider other factors, such as competition quality. You don't know the grades of other applicants. Competition volume. You don't know the number of people applying to the limited spots. A moving target. This is based on whether a course is over or undersubscribed. Universities frequently change the entry requirements listed from year to year because of this. And missed offer flexibility. You don't know if your offer will be honored if you don't meet your predicted grades. Therefore, we have a set of criteria in our algorithm to calculate the chance of acceptance. The percentage of applications resulting in an offer, which is taken from the previous 3 years of applications to the university that have been successful. The academic profile of these successful applicants, so what sort of grades did they get? Offers made per grade, and minimum entry requirements. I will go in a bit more detail now to show you how we use this criteria for the US compared to the UK. So this is for the UK. When a university says 3 A's is the minimum entry requirement for a given course, what you don't know is what proportion of candidates who have 3 A's actually receive an offer. For example, for English at a top-ranked university in the UK, the distribution of actual grades and offers looks like this. As you can see, 3 A's does not by any means guarantee you a place due to the high caliber of students vying for limited spots. Depending on how over or undersubscribed a course may be, and the reality of the offers made, there can be huge discrepancies in the offer given and the actual grades attained by the candidate. To draw on a few real-world examples experienced by students at our partner schools, one student was offered AAB for law at Leicester and actually achieved BCC, and the student was still accepted to the program. For the US, here is an example of a college that has received around 19,000 applications with a range of SAT scores. It accepts a range of candidates represented between the red columns. Simply knowing the average admitted SAT score would suggest that a sample applicant, for example Mary, with an SAT score of 1400, would be in the middle of the pack. But because this college has more applicants with lower SATs than 1400, Mary is actually in the top 30% of applicants to this college. So understanding where you stand versus other candidates is really important context for your application. BridgeU's matcher considers the spread of applicants both accepted and rejected to calculate the most accurate chance of offer for each individual student. Now, if you're interested in universities in the Netherlands, you may have noticed that for the chance of acceptance it says NA. Most universities in the Netherlands have open admissions, so it doesn't make sense to group universities by chance of acceptance, as you generally get accepted in the first year. We do rank universities from this country in 3 different reach, match, and safety buckets according to a combination of different world rankings, such as TES, QS, Shanghai, Webometrics. They are then placed into one of the three buckets so that they appear alongside similarly academically challenging and respected universities from other countries. This is the same for other countries such as Hong Kong, Spain, and Germany. However, you can hover over the little information button next to the NA, and it will bring up more detail on this. Finally, before you do the final activity, I just want to show you a couple more things that are useful when searching for courses. So jumping back to the Matcher page, you will see three little dots on the top right-hand corner for courses. Click on that and press Students Also Shortlisted. You will then be able to see other courses that are commonly shortlisted alongside it. These are courses shortlisted from other students who use BridgeU across the globe. Now coming back to this page again, you can also search for universities on the top right-hand corner. So if I type in Kingston, for example, 6 universities are found with that name, and you can add these to the shortlist, or you can see courses at this university. Now, with shortlisting, ideally you are only shortlisting courses that you are curious about, as your shortlist involves doing more research around this particular course or university, which will be covered in the next lesson, by the way. So try not to overwhelm your shortlist with many universities. Some advice also is to not just add universities that you want to go to or have heard of. Use some of the tools you saw in this video and try to also research some new courses that you hadn't heard before. If you're not sure what to shortlist or what mix to pick, you could aim for 3 courses from Reach, 3 from the Match, and 3 from the safety buckets. However, it's always worth asking your careers advisor what they recommend is best for you. So now it's your turn to update and edit your profile builder and begin shortlisting courses that appeal to you. To do this, you will complete the table in the next slide. You can use the table that's attached to this article, or you can create your own. On the top of the table, you will write the name of the course and what bucket it's in. And on the left-hand side, you will write down these factors: interests, personality, and location. Just for the sake of this exercise, I recommend 3 reach, 3 match, and 3 safety, but it's always worth, as mentioned, checking with your counsellor. And remember also to aim to research on a course that you haven't heard of. You're also going to highlight what are the most important parts of this table for you, and also the least important. So this is my example of 3 different courses that I found. It's your turn now. Good luck. And with that, our lesson is over. Thank you so much for listening. Before you go though, are you on TikTok? If so, it would be great to see your answers. You can follow us on TikTok at BridgeU and share your mind map or table via #BridgeU. Thank you for listening. Bye.